Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions.
Namaste, bienvenidos, amados, poderosos compañeros.
All right, let's see if we can find out how to get off of this wheel of samsara.
Vamos a ver si podemos salir de esta rueda de Sansara.
Hero of the dream, oh my gosh.
El héroe del sueño, oh Dios santo.
The death trap.
La trampa de la muerte.
We're trying to be the hero of our own dream, saving ourselves in the dream, which is impossible.
Estamos tratando de ser los seres del sueño y tratando de salvarnos, cosa del sueño, cosa que es imposible.
To try to find salvation in death, that's what the hero of the dream is.
De tratar de encontrar la salvación en el porque eso es el héroe del sueño, tratar de encontrar la salvación en el sueño.
First of all, that there's something other out there, other to be saved.
De que hay un otro allá afuera que hay que salvar.
Salvation's already done. Remember, the script is written. We're already saved.
Ya estamos salvados. Por eso es lo que quiere decir el guión está escrito.
But the hero of the dream is to write a little script about a little person that can be saved inside its little idea that it has of itself.
Pero el héroe del sueño es esta pequeña idea que tenemos de que podemos vivir en un mundo de nosotros mismos.
It's not possible to be saved that way.
No es posible ser salvados de esa manera.
It's looking for salvation insides of ideas and concepts.
Es tratar de buscar la salvación en ideas y conceptos.
No way to go. You can't look inside of thoughts, feelings, and emotions to find salvation.
No puedes buscar en las emociones, en los pensamientos y sentimientos la salvación.
I know when I've talked about transcending all emotions, there are beings that get really mad about that. What do you mean, my emotions? I got to protect them.
Y cuando yo hablo de trascender las emociones, hay personas que dicen, pero ¿cómo así? Si yo tengo que proteger mis emociones.
Remember, Jesus only talks about two emotions, love and fear. See?
Y Jesús habla de solo dos emociones, la emoción del miedo y del amor.
And infinite love isn't really an emotion, it's your identity, but it's the best way you can try to communicate, putting all emotions, all these swings of feelings that goes like this, constantly moving and changing.
Y el amor es más allá de una emoción, es un estado de ser.
It's like a bucket of sensations, and then we crawl inside there and live inside there thinking, okay, some sensation's going to come along and it's going to save me. I'm going to be saved by sensations.
Y viene esta cantidad de sensaciones y creo que yo voy a poder ser salvado por estas sensaciones.
No, it's a fight. It's a fight to try to prove that every single thing we're feeling is valuable. It's some kind of really high value and interpret it.
Creemos que esta pelea, nos gusta esta pelea de creer que tiene valor estas interpretaciones.
Yeah, exactly. Happiness, like it's not we'll call it happiness of God. It transcends all of that. It's just pure, unrelenting joy.
Y la felicidad no es una emoción. Esto es un estado completo de gozo.
So you can't, it's not, I could see that. I would take like thought packets, a little packet of thought would come and then look inside of that. If the right number or thoughts are arranged and put in a specific order, then I was going to be happy, right?
Entonces está la creencia de que si tenemos unos paquetes de pensamientos y los podemos tener organizados, de ahí va a venir mi felicidad.
And then I'd like kind of wander around in thought playground, right? So it'd be, you know, like I'd finish having a conversation with somebody and then do a thought playground what if scenario, like, well, what if I talk to them about this, you know, what if I told them that, you know, second guessing all the thoughts I already had, was that the right thoughts? And then that salvation, I would be saved, happiness would be if I could fix those thoughts with another set of thoughts.
Y acabo de tener una conversación con alguien y entonces viene esta cantidad de pensamientos y configuraciones de que si puedo organizar este paquete de pensamientos y alinearlo con este otro paquete de pensamientos, todo va a funcionar.
Like agonize over, like if someone was mad at me, I would just type a long letter and I just agonize, you know, how can I not have them mad at me if I just write the right thing and the right set of thoughts, somehow I'd be safe.
Y entonces alguien estaba molesto conmigo porque escribió un largo documento y creyendo que de alguna manera así se iba a salvar.
You know, it's like I could see it too. I mean, it's such a change. It's such a change. Like God's version of salvation is like so different from what I
Es
thought it
muy
was.
diferente la forma de la salvación que, de lo que yo había pensado.
Because well, on this trip, let's see.
Así que en este viaje,
Yeah. So so I had a trip and first of all, the thought trying to get thought solutions, right, to a problem because I'm trying to fly standby back all the way down into the United States. And of course, you know.
bueno, y en este viaje, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, can you hear it, Maria? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Good.
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm on a trip in the United States right now, right? And I was flying standby.
Ella está diciendo que ella está en un viaje ahora mismo por Estados Unidos y que tuvo una parada.
And of course, the plane was completely full yesterday. So there's no way I could get out of Guadalajara into Houston yesterday. No way.
Y ayer estaba completamente los vuelos llenos y no pude viajar de Guadalajara a Houston.
But, you know, I could see like little thought things coming up, but like you get determined to be free. You know, I was like, whatever, you know, I was like, you see that your happiness does not, you can choose to be happy in every situation, exactly like he says, when your mind's trained.
Que cuando ella dice que cuando la mente está entrenada podemos estar felices en cualquier situación, que a ella le surgieron algunos pensamientos con relación a esto, pero que cuando está entrenado simplemente hay felicidad.
Whereas in the past, I would have, you know, every time they'd say, sorry, you can't get on this plane, you're not, you know, there'd be my mind would just start getting in some kind of big old knot because if it didn't go the way I wanted, see, salvation, the way the ego works is your salvation depends on a certain scenario that you're going to outpicture.
Entonces ella dice que en otro momento en el pasado ella se hubiese molestado y hubiese tratado de que las cosas fueran a su manera, pero y que de alguna manera creía que la salvación tenía que ser de cierta forma, pero no lo es.
So the best thing to say about Hero of the Dream is it does not work.
Y la única cosa útil de decir del héroe del sueño es decir que esto no funciona.
But I don't think without Jesus, I wouldn't know where I'm trying to be hero of the dream without him to tell me, here's where you're delusional.
Y sin Jesús no me hubiese dado cuenta dónde yo estaba tratando de ser el héroe del sueño, dónde me estaba siendo engañada.
Because I start to see how much I would determine to try to save myself in thought, you know, through certain thought clusters, certain emotional states.
Porque me daba cuenta que estaba tratando de buscar la salvación en cierta clase de pensamientos, en cierto estado emocional.
So it locks down. It's like I could see how consciousness locks down. Here's a scenario, and I'm going to die if that certain set of sensations doesn't work out.
Y cómo la mente se encierra y dice que sin este tipo de sensaciones no puedo como salir de esto.
Oh my gosh. I just, you have to surrender. I see that. It's not in the way of the world surrender, but in terms of you have to follow. There just isn't another way. You have to follow Jesus. You have to do everything that he tells you, because otherwise you are trying to save yourself in your thoughts, be hero of your own dream.
Y de alguna manera es rendirse, pero no es rendirse de la forma como la presenta el mundo, sino es realmente seguirlo, estar dispuesto a seguirlo, porque si no vas a estar queriendo ser el héroe del sueño.
You start laughing at everything, at least for me, because just as I'm saying all this stuff, I just, you see that I chose it,
Y entonces comienzas a reírte porque te das cuenta de que incluso para mí que esto es elegido.
And it seems like I have to do something to save someone else, to prove myself, to prove what my value is.
De que tengo que hacer algo para salvar a alguien y así probar el valor mío.
No, our value is determined by God,
Tu valor, nuestro valor, está determinado por Dios.
Thank God he's the one who set our value, because we do a terrible job of it.
Gracias a Dios o gracias que Dios nos ha dado nuestro valor porque nosotros en esto hemos hecho un terrible trabajo.
You have to give up the idea that you even know what salvation is. That's what I realized, because you don't know what it is. You don't.
Tienes que renunciar a tu idea de lo que es la salvación porque tú no lo sabes, no lo sabes.
Unless you're happy all the time, you do not know what salvation is. You don't know.
Amén. A menos de que estés feliz todo el tiempo, tú no sabes qué es la salvación, no lo sabes.
So you have to trust that he's going to be the one who's going to tell you what salvation is. You can't know it.
Tú tienes que confiar en él, que él te va a decir qué es la salvación porque tú no lo sabes.
And then show you every place in your mind where you're not forgiving, because wherever you're not forgiving, then you're trying to be hero of the dream.
Y para que él te muestre dónde no has perdonado, porque donde no has perdonado es donde estás tratando de ser un héroe del sueño.
And he's got to be the one to show you that, because you're not going to see it for yourself. You can't see all the places where you're judging.
Y él tiene que mostrártelo porque tú mismo no te puedes dar cuenta de los lugares donde estás juzgándote.
Look, I've tried arguing with Jesus. I've never won a single one
Yo
of those
siempre he
arguments.
tratado de pelear con Jesús, pero nunca he ganado, nunca,
So
ni una sola vez.
the only thing you can do is follow. If he tells you something, you have to follow it 100%.
Y si él te dice algo, lo que tú tienes que hacer es seguirlo 100%.
And every time you're not following him, you are denying yourself salvation.
Y cada vez que tú no lo sigues, estás negándote a ti mismo la salvación.
Because he's going to be the only one who knows when you're investing in the ego.
Y porque él es el único que te puede mostrar dónde tú estás invirtiendo en el ego.
He's the one going to know when you're investing in hell, and you have to trust him 100%.
Él te va a decir cuándo estás invirtiendo en el infierno y tienes que confiar en él un 100%.
It's not 99.9%. That's not.
No es
Not 100%.
99.9, tiene que ser 100%.
It is 100%.
Es 100%.
Because God is 100%.
porque Dios es 100%,
because your holiness is 100%.
porque tu santidad es 100%.
And that means you have to forgive everything, everything, everything.
Eso quiere decir que tienes que perdonar todas las cosas, todo.
Because if you're investing in one judgment, the tiniest little judgment, you're investing in being hero of the dream. You're trying to control things.
Porque si tú estás invirtiendo en juicios, estás queriendo ser el héroe del sueño.
So the only way, you have to be 100% committed to clearing your mind 100% of every judgment.
Así tienes que estar comprometido 100% a limpiar tu mente, 100%.
Okay, otherwise you're in self-punishment. All judgment is, and not accepting miracles or forgiveness is self-punishment. That's all it
Porque
is.
lo contrario estás en autocastigo, porque cada cosa que no sea perdonada es un autocastigo.
And what I'm realizing now is that he's the one who knows our value because we forgot what it is.
Y otra cosa que me doy cuenta ahora es que Él es el único que sabe nuestro valor porque nosotros no lo sabemos.
By thinking we know,
Aunque creemos que sí,
like better than God.
que sabemos mejor, más que Dios, mejor que Él.
Which is not a good idea.
Lo que no es una muy buena idea.
It is not a good idea to think you know better than God knows about who you are, what your holiness is.
Es una mala idea creer que sabemos porque nuestro valor es nuestra santidad.
And you cannot keep any part of the world, your interpretation of any part of the world. Every part of your interpretation has to be given over.
No puedes mantener una parte de la interpretación del mundo. Tienes que entregarle todas las interpretaciones del mundo, completamente entregarlas.
Because you cannot experience a consistent state of happiness with one single judgment left in the mind.
Porque no puedes tener una constante felicidad con un solo pensamiento de juicio en tu mente.
But you really have to trust him. You have to trust him 100%.
Pero tú tienes que confiar un 100% en él.
There can be no exceptions.
No puede haber excepciones.
And you have to be clear on what your assignments are, because the ego is going to try to go sideways every single opportunity that it can take.
Y tienes que estar claro de cuáles son tus asignaciones, porque el ego va a querer usar cualquier situación para desviarse.
So those joining sessions to learn how to hear his guidance and hear his voice, it is 100% essential if you really want to see what he taught is true inside, from the inside.
Y asistir a las sesiones de guía es esencial si tú estás dispuesto a ver cuál es la guía desde adentro, desde el interior.
Not because you read it in a book somewhere.
No porque tú lo leas en un libro o en cualquier parte.
Not because you talk about what you think you know.
No porque tú hables de lo que crees que sabes.
But because you followed him so that everything he says, you'll know it's true and it detonates on the inside of you.
Porque sabes por experiencia propia que cada cosa que se dice es así porque detona en ti.
But the only way it does that is by forgiving absolutely everything.
Pero la forma como sucede eso es que perdonemos todas las cosas, cada cosa.
Because without forgiving absolutely everything, you're keeping some idea you have about what your identity is.
Porque si mantienes algo sin perdonar, estás tratando de mantener algo de tu identidad personal.
So in other words, every time we don't forgive, every time we don't accept a miracle,
así que cada vez que no aceptamos un milagro,
not you, but in the play of consciousness, the ego is trying to tell God what's true.
En el juego de la conciencia, God,
God. Yeah.
God
See,
what?
you're trying to tell God what's true.
Estás tratando de decir que Dios está en lo cierto.
You're trying to tell him you know better than he knows about how things work.
Le estamos diciendo, nosotros sabemos más de lo que tú sabes de cómo funciona esto.
And thankfully, you're wrong.
Pero afortunadamente estamos equivocados.
You just thank God you're wrong.
Y tú le dices a Dios, sí, estoy equivocado.
So the central thing, I'm gonna come over here to some of these quotes. I think I sent them to you, Maria. Let me check.
Yes.
Okay, good. We're gonna go through some of these quotes and really take a
Dice que vamos a ir a algunas de las citas.
okay. And we're gonna really look at how the ego plays in the mind.
Vamos a ver cómo el
Okay.
ego juega en la mente.
Through these thoughts, through interpretations of the
A
world
través de los pensamientos y las interpretaciones del mundo.
and who you think you are.
Y de quién crees que tú eres. O quién
Okay.
cree.
Who we think we are.
Y de quién creemos que somos.
And you have to see that, first of all, you're through your desire, through these subconscious desires for experiences other than holiness.
Y te tienes que dar cuenta que a través de estos deseos de otra cosa que no sea la santidad,
All objective experiences being generated from those subconscious desires, those hidden desires. That's why we spend so much time looking at desires for something other than God.
por eso es que pasamos tanto tiempo mirando los deseos por una cosa diferente a Dios, porque eso es lo que surge para generar la experiencia.
It is the way the ego tries to prove that you're not holy.
Es la forma como el ego trata de demostrar que no eres santo.
Okay, I'm just looking down over through these quotes here.
Está mirando las
Okay.
citas.
So we're going to go to Maria. Let's see, 1, 2, paragraph 4. Oh, yeah, it has number 4 by it. The body series. Let's see. No, thus you are not the dreamer, but the dream.
Just a moment.
It's chapter 27. Number 8.
Okay. Okay, the body is the central figure?
No, it's thus
okay.
you are not the dreamer, but the dream.
Okay, just a moment.
Here, let me give it to you.
Okay, yes, 4.
You're there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with you are dreaming.
Bueno, entonces vamos a comenzar con esto. Dice, de esta manera, tú no eres el soñador.
Okay, so these
Sino
little
el sueño.
thought forms come up and then you say, okay, this is me. All these emotions, all these experiences that you're having and you're identifying with them. You're saying, okay, this is my identity.
Entonces comienzan a surgir estas emociones y estos pensamientos y decimos, esta es mi identidad.
Okay, and he's so good. And so you wander idly in and out of places and events that gets contrived by the ego.
Así deambulas fútilmente entrando y saliendo de lugares y situaciones en el que él maquina.
It's being in a constant state of interpretation through taking thoughts and going, okay, this set of thought is real. We're constantly in that play. Well, unless you're in an extreme state of happiness all the time, that's what's happening.
Si tú estás en un estado de no felicidad completa, estás en esta constante venir de pensamientos y emociones.
That this is all the body does is true, for it is but a figure in a dream.
Eh, Esto es lo que es, sorry, esto es todo lo que hace el ego. Es cierto, pues no es más que una figura de un sueño.
Now, you can talk about the interesting challenge about reading anything in a course is you really want to have this detonate on the inside.
Lo particular de leer esto en el curso que es que nosotros queremos que esto detone interiormente en nosotros.
Because if you try to read it and understand it in your mind,
Porque si tú tratas de leerlo y entenderlo en tu mente,
it is not possible to get it at the level of thought. Actually, you have to get it at the level that transcends thought, the part of you that remembers holiness, super consciousness.
porque tienes que tratar de entenderlo por una parte superior, que es la parte de la superconciencia, no tratar de entenderlo desde el pensamiento.
And it's really helpful if you've done lesson 44 or lesson 189, when you recognize that inner light, then you can look at it from that perspective. That helps greatly.
Por eso es tan útil mirar la lección 44, la 189, para verlo desde la perspectiva de la luz.
Okay, because just like I can even see, it's not like you go around thinking, oh, I'm a little figure in a dream. It's just that you're not wedded to this idea of what a body is doing or not doing for your happiness.
Entonces no te involucras en que tú eres un cuerpo que hace cosas para lograr tu felicidad.
See, as long as you're trying to find happiness in the dream and the ideas and emotions and things that happen to you,
Inmediatamente tratas de obtener felicidad a través de las emociones y las cosas que te pasan a ti.
I'm saying this is the real bottom line. The real bottom line is saying, look, this does not work.
Y ahí es donde está la base de esto, darse cuenta que esto no funciona.
I can see that I had to get the point where I saw that my way or any ideas actually I'm like I have about anything.
Me di cuenta que a mi manera y de que todas las ideas que yo tenía
It's not valuable, actually.
no son valiosas.
And that the only thing that was valuable is to hear his interpretation on everything.
Que lo único valioso es escuchar su interpretación de cada cosa.
And I can see it's like so much trust, but even before like the trust, it's going, my way doesn't work.
De
My
alguna
way,
manera darnos cuenta de que a mi manera no funciona.
and it's going to have to be his way before I actually know what his way actually is. That's what I
Tenemos que darnos cuenta que esa es la manera de él, incluso antes de que sepamos cuál es su manera.
because I could see the only way that ship could turn is to finally go, that's it. It's got to be his way. And it's got to be a complete back down from my way, the my way highway.
La forma como se voltea el barco es darnos cuenta que a nuestra manera no funciona, que a mi manera no funciona.
It's he 100% knows the way. And there's a point like where that every bit of idea you have about you has to go to his interpretation 100%.
Tenemos que ir a su interpretación, esa interpretación que tenemos de nosotros, ir, para que sea su interpretación.
Because if there's a you interpretation in there somewhere, that is a denial. That's you're still trying to be a hero in the dream.
Porque si hay una interpretación de ti mismo, es querer ser el héroe del sueño.
There's going to be some part of a you that's trying to find salvation inside
Hay
the
una parte
dream.
del tú tratando de buscar la salvación en el sueño.
But who reacts to the figures in a dream unless he sees them as if they were real?
Mas, ¿quién reaccionaría ante las figuras de un sueño a no ser que creyera que son reales?
The hero of a dream is one big reaction device.
La figura del sueño es un reaction, así
Reaction.
un equipo de reacción.
It's a twitch machine. It generates the stuff out there to react to so we can have the experience of reacting to it.
Es una máquina de twitches, de molestias, así que va generando estas incomodidades.
And then it complains about it on the surface. This happened to a me, and here's what's wrong with the world. See?
Y entonces luego nos quejamos y decimos, mira, esto me pasó a mí y esto es lo que está mal acerca del mundo.
And it looks at fixing things out in the world. It's trying to fix things, correct the errors out in the world.
Y es tratar de ir a corregir los errores en el mundo.
It can't happen that way. The only way is we have to reel back from being that little whatever you're doing to turn inwards instead of looking outward in the world for a way to find a solution out there. The solution, it's the memory. The solution is always inside through forgiveness, through changing our mind of the interpretation.
Entonces es dejar de ir hacia afuera, ir hacia adentro y buscar la solución en el perdón, en esta nueva interpretación.
It's so fascinating because at first the the ego's so mad, right? Because it doesn't want to be wrong. That's what anger, every bit of anger is not wanting to be wrong about the way God made you.
Y la molestia surge de toda esta rabia, surge de no querer aceptar que fuimos hechos como Dios nos creó.
The instant that he sees them as they are, they have no more effects on him.
En el instante en que la reconoces como lo que verdaderamente son, dejan de tener efectos sobre él porque entienden que él fue el mismo quien los dio los efectos que tienen.
Because he understands he gave them their effects by causing them and making them seem real.
Porque sobre él, porque entiende que él fue el mismo quien les dio los efectos que tienen al causarlos y hacerlos que aparecieran reales.
I give everything I see, all the meaning it has for me out there.
Todo le he dado a todo lo que veo el significado que tiene, todo lo que vemos afuera.
Jean-Francois calls it the decor.
Y Jean-François lo llama el decor.
I bet it's exactly right. It's everything out there. Seemingly, it's not out there. It's
y todo lo que aparentemente está afuera no está afuera.
I give everything I see all the meaning it has for me.
Le he dado a todo lo que veo el significado que tiene para mí.
It is not natural to twitch about, see something and have a twitch about it. It's not natural. It's your heroing of the dream. Every time you do that, you're trying to find salvation in some kind of constructive form. Oop, that was long.
Entonces, creemos que lo que pasa afuera me afecta. Y no, I lost the idea,
I
sorry.
know. Yeah. So every time you're looking, the whole world is made to look out there and interpret something happening out there to a little me that's here.
Entonces está esta interpretación de que hay algo que está pasando allá afuera que me está pasando a mí, a mi pequeño yo.
Okay. The happiest day is you have to use Jesus as your way to get yourself out there. You know,
y tú tienes que pedirle a Jesús que te ayude.
Like, it's in here, you know, to listen inside, to get Jesus's interpretation, to get you out of being affiliated with every twitch and form.
Para que Él te ayude a librarte de cualquier interpretación de lo que vemos en el mundo.
To get you uncoupled from all the ideas you have about your decor.
Para hacer como que nos quite estas capas de las ideas que tenemos de lo que creemos que es nuestra pantalla.
And stop going, okay, this what's happening before my eyes and what I hear, that is somehow having an effect on me.
La creencia que tenemos de que lo que está pasando me está afectando a mí.
That is like immediate going into defense mode. See, because the world is happening to me. I am getting affected by the world. I become the effect in my mind.
Entonces me convierto a estar defensivo porque algo me está pasando a mí, algo me está sucediendo a mí,
Okay.
que yo no soy la causa.
It doesn't work that way.
No funciona de esa manera.
Okay. It doesn't, it's such a habit to go out there and just go, there's some problem out there.
Y esta costumbre de ir ahí afuera y encontrar problemas.
And then I got to go fix that problem out there.
Y creer que tenemos que ir a solucionar esos problemas allá afuera.
And then the ego gets all involved.
Y el ego se involucra de esta manera.
With trying to be a hero, I'm going to fix what's out there.
Y tratando de ser el héroe, tengo que ir a arreglar lo que está dañado allí afuera.
And Jesus is saying, no, you have to fix what's going on inside your thoughts by forgiving them, that there is some idea of something that's out there.
Y Jesús dice, no, tienes que ir y mirar tus pensamientos y perdonarlos de la creencia de que hay algo allá afuera.
To turn inward and see that you are giving everything you see some kind of definition, so then you can go out and pretend like you can save something in form.
Que tú le estás dando estas definiciones y que tú crees que puedes ir y sanar algo allá en la forma.
So I can give myself a little dreaming project, something to fix, rather than to forgive.
Entonces le damos como una tarea de arreglar algo en lugar de una tarea de perdonar.
It's such a relief. You can turn the whole thing over to him. It's such a relief.
Es una gran liberación cuando le podemos entregar todo a él.
But the habit of trying to be the savior of yourself, moment by moment, trying to save yourself through thought, it's exhausting.
Pero tratar de salvarte a ti mismo a través de pensamientos es exhausto.
But if you break the habit by going to Jesus and say, okay, Jesus, what do I do here? And you let him start running the show.
Pero cuando dejamos que sea Jesús el que le preguntemos qué tengo que sanar, dejamos que Él sea el que dirija el show.
So he can get the you out of it.
Y así te haces a un lado.
The little dream figure, you gotta, no, never gonna work.
Y así la figura del sueño nos damos cuenta que no va a funcionar.
So we're gonna go back to paragraph 8, the hero of the dream, that first paragraph.
Entonces vamos a ir al parágrafo primero, el héroe del sueño.
I'm just seeing that itch to be a hero. I mean, it permeates everything. It permeates everything.
Y esto permea cada cosa, este deseo, esa picazón por ser el héroe del sueño.
Ask Jesus, Jesus,
Preguntémosle a Jesús, Jesús,
do I relish being hero of a dream more than God?
¿disfruto ser el héroe del sueño más que a Dios?
Every time you think you know you're being a hero, you're trying to be a hero of a dream, in a dream figure.
Cada vez que crees que tú crees que sabes, estás tratando de ser la figura del sueño.
It's so interesting how relentless we are about not wanting to admit we're wrong.
Es increíble la forma como no queremos admitir que estamos equivocados.
It's like, no matter what, I'm not going to admit I'm wrong.
No importa que no voy a aceptar que estoy equivocado.
Like the number of beings they'll hear guidance and they know they're out of guidance and gonna stay out of guidance because I can, you know.
El número de personas que saben o seres que saben que no están en guía y dicen, pues puedo no estar en guía y que.
Because there's some kind of hope that insanity is actually going to work.
Porque hay una clase de esperanza que la locura va a funcionar.
You know, it's really interesting with the apostles. Look in the Bible, the apostles were fishermen.
Y podemos verlo en la Biblia, los apóstoles que eran pescadores.
It's probably one of the most secure jobs because you would have at least food from your livelihood right there, fish.
Y quizá uno de los trabajos más seguros de la época porque al menos tenía esa alimentación.
And then they just dropped their nets and went with Jesus.
Pero ellos simplemente dejaron sus redes y siguieron a Jesús.
It's a symbol of seeing what's in the world does not work.
Es un símbolo de darnos cuenta de que las cosas en el mundo no funcionan.
You know, that's when you're getting the real grok message, when you're willing to do whatever it takes to see the truth beyond this grand illusion.
Es cuando realmente lo asimilas completamente en tu mente y te decides salir de la ilusión.
And I can see, like, I could read this first sentence. The body is the central figure in the dreaming of the world.
Entonces leemos la primera parte, dice, el cuerpo es el personaje central en el sueño del mundo.
So I'm a body and therefore it's real and therefore I got stuff I gotta do.
Entonces yo soy un cuerpo que vivo en un mundo que tiene que hacer cosas, este cuerpo.
And I mean, I understand it. It takes time because it's so deep in the dream, and we're so because the dream itself is to make us feel insecure. That's because we relish the experience of insecurity.
Porque eso es que en este sueño nos disfrutamos sentirnos inseguros, porque es parte del sueño, sentirnos inseguros.
There is no dream without it, without the body.
Sin él no hay sueño.
Nor does it exist without the dream in which it acts as if it were a person to be seen and to be believed.
Ni él existe en el sueño en el que actúa como si fuera una persona digna de ser vista y creída.
I'm talking to Jesus about how everything is like a horizontal interaction. I talk to you, you talk back to me. I give you love, you give me love back here. You know, it's
Entonces, hablando con Jesús, le decía que todo es muy horizontal. Yo te hablo a ti para que tú me hables a mí. Yo te amo a ti para que tú me ames a mí.
You give a little, I'll give a little. You compromise, I'll compromise. It's so different.
Yo te doy un poquito, tú me das un poquito. Tú te comprometes, yo me comprometo.
You know, over the last week or so at the center, there's been a lot of looking at the concept of fairness.
What is fairness?
Fairness.
I don't know what's that.
Fair.
Está diciendo que en el centro han estado trabajando estas últimas semanas acerca del trabajo de fairness, pero no sé qué es. Lina, ¿tú sabes?
Fairness. Justica. Justica.
What?
Justica. Justica. Justica.
Justicia.
Oh,
Justicia.
it's justicia. Yeah, there you go. My justicia.
Justicia.
Okay, justicia. Because we think we can choose. Look at the number of objects out there. I mean, millions of them. Go into
Entonces,
a pharmacy.
Vemos todas estas justificaciones ahí. Vemos que fuimos a la farmacia, algo así.
And see the drugs, the number of drugs are in a store. And we think we can choose among those and we'll be saved if we choose the right numbers of those things. And then we'll be saved.
Entonces fuimos a la droguería y veíamos toda esta cantidad de medicamentos y creemos que somos salvados si escogemos el medicamento más adecuado.
Then the body will feel better, or it will be saved, or it will live longer.
Y el cuerpo se va a sentir a salvo y va a vivir más.
Everything's around living longer, doing something to live longer, to take better care of the body.
Y hacer cosas para vivir más, para cuidar del cuerpo, para que dure más.
It takes a central place in every dream, which tells the story of how it was made by other bodies.
Ocupa el lugar central de cada sueño en el que se narra la historia de cómo fue concebido por otros cuerpos.
Born into the world outside the body, lives a little while and dies. Born into the world outside the body, lives a little while and dies.
Cómo vino a un mundo externo al cuerpo, cómo vive por un corto tiempo hasta que muere.
To be united in the dust with other bodies dying like itself. This is so
para luego convertirse en polvo junto con otros cuerpos que al igual que él también mueren.
What kind of God do we think we have? Really?
¿Qué clase de Dios creemos que tenemos en verdad?
Every time you're not following, you're saying that this is a good scenario to be living in.
Cada vez que no lo seguimos, estamos diciendo que este es un muy buen escenario para vivir.
In the brief time allotted it to live, it seeks for other bodies as friends and enemies.
En el breve lapso de vida que se le ha concedido, busca otros cuerpos para que sean sus amigos o enemigos.
Its safety is its main concern. It's so true.
Su seguridad es su mayor preocupación.
You know, I've talked about this before. I could see like it's constantly, I could see from watching, you have to watch your mind, right? And you start to see you're on a hunt. You're always hunting for something or looking over your shoulder to see if something's going to get you.
Y vemos cómo esto es una cacería. Siempre estamos en una cacería constante o estamos mirando por encima del hombro a ver si alguien te está tocando.
Its comfort is its guiding rule.
Su comodidad, la ley por la que se rige.
And oh my gosh, I'm asking, there's just abject rage at anything that seems to threaten its comfort.
Está diciendo que sí, surge mucha rabia cuando no hay comodidad.
It tries to look for pleasure and avoid the things that would be hurtful.
Trata de buscar placer y evitar todo lo que le pueda ocasionar dolor.
This is why that if you haven't watched that pleasure and pain are the same things, this is so important to get that they're the same.
Es importante darnos cuenta que el placer y el dolor son lo mismo.
You have to see, that's why you only want to speak what Jesus has to say.
Y esta es la única manera como rápidamente vas. Sorry, can you repeat that?
That is why you only want to say what Jesus tells you to say.
Por eso es que tenemos que siempre decir lo que Él nos diga que debemos decir.
Okay, because you're living inside of this, it breaks the pattern. You oh my gosh, the level of tension, because
estos patrones que nos generan un alto nivel de tensión.
You don't see it till you, Muji would say this, you don't see it till you transcend it.
Como Muji lo diría, no lo vas a ver hasta que lo hayas trascendido.
But like everything that's coming out of your mouth is like a call to some kind of desperate something to get comfort or fulfill something that can't be fulfilled.
Porque cada vez que sale algo de nuestra boca estamos tratando de buscar confort o de llenar algo que no se puede llenar.
So you have to cut that off by speaking what it'll break that. Like you're constantly in a state of distress trying to get something. You just feel the energy of it. It's horrific.
Miren la energía que se genera este estrés de tratar de lograr esto, encontrar esta comodidad.
It's constant. It's this incessant trying to save the body. Constant.
Es un tratar de salvar el cuerpo constantemente.
Above all, it tries to teach itself its pains and joys are different and can be told apart. Pains and joys.
Pero por encima de todo, trata de enseñarte a ti mismo que sus dolores y placeres son cosas diferentes y que es posible distinguir entre ellos.
In other words, you think you know what happiness is. You, the little person, thinks, here's what happiness is. It looks like this, and the beach looks like this, or the sunset looks like this, or...
Entonces, ahí es donde el pequeño personaje trata de decir, mira, yo sé qué es la felicidad, qué es el atardecer, qué es cada cosa.
Oh my gosh, everything is about preserving the dream. It's insanity preservation. That's what.
Cada cosa es tratar de preservar el sueño, preservar la locura.
Until you are 100% following and 100% forgiving, you are trying to preserve your idea of the dream. It's
Hasta que no sigas 100% y no perdones 100%, vas a tratar de conservar tu idea de lo que es el sueño.
But you're going to need to stand into the ruckus because the ego is going to throw up a ruckus as soon as you start saying, look, I'm going to see whether this dreaming is true.
Pero te tienes que mantener porque el ego va a mandarte cohetes cuando te decides saber cuál es la verdad.
But you're more powerful than any of the dream. You're generating it. You're Genesis.
Pero tú eres más poderoso que todo esto que se está generando. Tú lo generaste, tú eres el Génesis.
You're the most powerful thing going.
Tú eres lo más poderoso.
You're the totality of all that is.
Tú eres la totalidad de todo lo que es.
But every time you don't follow, you're just going, well, no thanks.
Pero cada vez que nos sigues, tú dices, esto está bien.
No thanks to all that is, you know.
No, gracias a todo lo que es, le estamos diciendo.
I can do that next year, you know. And it's
Yo puedo hacer esto el próximo año.
Oh my gosh, like that's in the dream, you can't see how abjectly horrific it is. It's horrific. There is nothing nice about it. Nothing. I'm telling you, nothing.
No, tú en el sueño no te das cuenta lo horrorífico que es, que nada, que no es nada.
There is nothing that you can keep or that you want to keep in the dreaming state. There isn't anything. Nothing, nada, zip.
Que no hay nada que no hay nada que tú puedas preservar del sueño. No hay cero, absolutamente nada.
You're the totality of all that is, ever was, or will be.
Can you say that again?
You are the totality of what is, what was, and what will always be. You're it.
Tú eres todo lo que fue, lo que es y lo que será.
You're Genesis.
Tú eres el Génesis.
Oh my gosh, the number of excuses to not follow Jesus. I see how legion that is. Do not underestimate.
El número de objeciones que tenemos para no seguir a Jesús son legiones. No las subestimemos.
Do not underestimate how much you or the play thinks it's better than God, that it knows more than God. It's so hilarious, but it's true.
Donde creemos que sabemos más que Dios. Eso es cierto. Donde creemos.
The world holds nothing. It's exactly like he says in the Course. It holds nothing for you.
Es como dice en el curso, el mundo no tiene nada que ofrecerte.
But he's not going to rip the world away from you. He's just going to show you where you think things are real and you're poking your eye out with scissors with stuff in the world.
Pero él no te va a arrancar el mundo, simplemente te va a mostrar dónde te estás sacando los ojos con las tijeras.
That's all he wants to show you. That's it. He just wants to show you, look, you're poking your eye out with a pair of scissors. Look, it's not good. Meanwhile, we're arguing with him. Go, I know.
Solo te está mostrando dónde te estás sacando los ojos con las tijeras y tú vas hasta querer pelear con esto.
It doesn't feel funny when you're in it.
Pero no se siente tan divertido cuando estás dentro en la situación.
But you have to see where you're causing you hell. Yeah.
Pero tienes que darte cuenta dónde te estás causando tú a ti mismo el infierno.
I just wanted it to be anything outside me that's doing it, anything to keep me from looking to see, oh, I'm doing it.
Pero yo quiero mantenerme viendo afuera para no ver que yo lo estoy haciendo.
But it's hilarious now, I talk to Jesus, like the smallest thing, a fly flies by. I'm doing that, huh, Jesus?
Sí, sí, pero el número de cosas que ahí los dan.
Well, a fly flies by, it's kind of wondrous. A little fly goes by and you go, Jesus, I'm doing that, right? He goes, yes.
Es como una mosca que se está moviendo y decimos, Jesús, ¿yo me estoy haciendo esto?
It's pretty wondrous. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's wondrous.
Es maravilloso darnos cuenta de esto.
What's a good Spanish word for wondrous? Let's see. Wondrous.
Maravilloso.
Yes,
Ajá.
that's a good word.
Es maravilloso. Yo estaba buscando qué significaba.
Me, just it's sheer relief to be uncoupled. I see that, in like you can get caught a little hook, but you get yourself out of it. You got to see how powerful your mind is to choose a miracle every single time.
Tienes que darte cuenta lo poderoso que eres de escoger un milagro en cada situación.
And really decide that there is nothing more important to you than a miracle, no matter what.
Y decidirte que no hay nada más importante que el milagro, no importa lo que se requiera.
And really cease to deny that you have the power in every single instance to forgive. You have the power.
Y dejar de negar que tú tienes el poder de perdonar cada situación.
That is the greatest challenge. Like he had to show me I didn't want miracles.
Y eso es una cosa grandiosa porque él me tuvo que mostrar que yo no quería los milagros.
The hero of the dream is too busy to accept miracles.
El héroe del sueño está muy ocupado para aceptar milagros.
But what about my life, Jesus? I got stuff to do. I got to do.
Pero entonces, ¿qué va a pasar con mi vida, Jesús? Yo tengo cosas que hacer.
The one who's saying that is the hero of the dream. That voice is the same one as the wrong-mindedness voice.
La voz que habla esto es el héroe del sueño. Esa es la misma mentalidad errada.
Let's just really listen at what we're saying when we're saying to Jesus, but I got my life.
Entonces miremos a ver qué queremos decir cuando decimos, Jesús, yo tengo mi vida.
Okay, because what that's really saying, but Jesus, I got my death to live out.
Y realmente lo que estamos diciendo es, yo tengo mi muerte.
Excuse me, Jesus, but I have to, it's a constant state of death unless you're not following. If you're not following, it's you're dead.
Porque si tú no lo sigues, es muerte, 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 muerte.
But the ego complains about knowing your life itself. That's what the ego complains about.
Pero el ego se queja acerca de su vida.
But you have to, there's no way around it. I don't know if there is. I welcome another way. But you have to turn into your own delusion and face it head on.
Pero tú tienes que entrar y mirar tu propio engaño y mirarlo de frente.
And the way he gives you to do that, where your greatest fear is facing your brother.
Y la forma grandiosa como él te da es darle la cara a tu hermano.
So instead of using your brother to perpetuate the dream, your brother becomes the way out of the dream.
En lugar de usar a tu hermano para perpetuar el sueño, usas tu hermano para salir del sueño.
I can tell you with 100% certainty, the last thing a Course in Miracles students wants is miracles.
Puedo decir con un alto porcentaje de certeza que lo menos que quieren los estudiantes del curso son milagros.
Because if miracles are the priority for Course in Miracles students,
Porque si los milagros fueran la prioridad para los estudiantes del curso,
it'd be 100% following and 100% joining.
habría un 100% de seguirlo y un 100% de unirse.
Without exception.
Sin excepciones.
That is the only way that you get the miracles necessary. You accept the miracles necessary to transcend this idea that you can be a hero somehow.
Y así es como puedes aceptar milagros para trascender la idea de que puede haber un héroe del sueño.
And it is really, it's humbling, but happily humbling to see how much deep in the mind you do not want miracles, not one shred of a miracle.
Pero es útil darnos cuenta, felizmente darnos cuenta de que no queremos ni un tricito de los milagros.
And how carefully you protect parts of your mind from miracles.
Y cómo proteges parte de tu mente de los milagros.
Not following is the way the ego protects part of the mind from miracles.
Y una forma es no siguiéndolo, porque es la forma como el ego protege parte de la mente de los milagros.
So again, I've said this many times, you cannot just, joining is good. If he's guiding it, he's got to guide every single miracle.
Por eso es que debemos dejar que él guíe cada milagro.
Just ask him, Jesus, you have to guide every miracle?
Solo pregunten, Jesús, ¿tú debes guiar cada milagro?
This is a Course in Miracles. Please take notes.
Este es un curso de milagros, por favor, toma nota.
That means we listen and he talks. That's it.
Eso que significa, tú escuchas y él habla.
And there's just, I've realized you can talk to Jesus about things and ask no questions, but you can't talk him out of anything.
Tú puedes hablar con Jesús y también puedes hacerle preguntas. Can you say the last part?
Well, he doesn't, he'll try to explain to you things in A Course in Miracles, but you should get to that point where you can get to that point where you talk to him at that level, where you're having a conversation. Okay.
Y sí, tú puedes aprender cosas en el curso de milagros, pero tienes que llegar al punto de tener una conversación con él.
But it's not a conversation of this world where you try to talk him out of things or tell him why you think you need to do something that you think you need to do.
Y no, pero no es una conversación como la del mundo, no es donde tú le preguntas por qué tengo que hacer algo.
It's a different kind of relationship.
Es un diferente tipo de relación.
He tells you what to do and you do it.
Él te dice qué tienes que hacer y tú lo haces.
And you will not find your way out of the stream without it. You can ask him.
Pero y tú no puedes salir del sueño sin él. Tú puedes preguntarle.
See, you're trying to keep the hero of the dream unless you're following him 100%.
Porque tú estás tratando de mantener al héroe del sueño si no lo sigues al 100%.
And it starts now.
Y comienza ahora.
That is a tricky little thing where it tries to delay.
Y esa es la parte complicada donde nosotros queremos retrasar.
So tonight we're going to end just a little bit early. Well, usually we have questions at the end. Please feel free to send your questions.
Hoy vamos a terminar un poco más temprano, pero siéntanse libres de enviar sus preguntas.
I'm going to end this before I run out of computer power. That's why. That's why.
Tiene que terminar antes de que se le acabe la batería del computador, dice.
But I send all of you so much love. Get out of the dream. It's really.
Les envío mucho amor y salgan del sueño. Es muy.
You know, to just be so freaking happy wherever you are.
Para que seamos locamente felices donde estemos.
You know, so you can just let your knees bend and just have your head on the floor, thanking Jesus that he got you through the insanity.
Es dejarnos inclinar y arrodillarnos a Jesús para que nos muestre la locura.
That he will lead you out. He's going to lead you out of the insanity.
Porque Él te va a sacar de esta locura.
And all that you're going to find is joy. That's it.
Y lo único que vas a encontrar es gozo. Tan, tan.
But it's really up to you. Just what he says. It's up to you to decide you want the truth more than you want to be a hero of the dream.
Pero eres tú quien tiene que decidir si quieres la verdad o mantenerte como el héroe del sueño.
It's not about winning salvation through doing something.
No se trata de ganar la salvación a través de hacer algo.
It's about accepting salvation by ceasing to deny its salvation's here.
Es aceptar la salvación dejando de negar que la salvación está aquí.
It is accepting all the power you have as granted by God to accept a miracle for everything.
Es aceptar el poder que tienes de aceptar los milagros en cada cosa.
And to see that you're innocent. Nothing's happening.
Y de ver que eres inocente y que nada ha pasado.
That's all it's ever about.
Eso es lo que se trata todo esto.
It's either I want to see the power that I have is granted by God over here.
Entonces tengo aquí el poder garantizado por Dios, dado por Dios.
Or I want to be weak and helpless and die a horrible death. It's like that.
O prefiero ser débil y morir en una muerte horrorífica.
Even so, either scenario, nothing's actually happening, but you will not experience it that way.
En cualquiera de los dos escenarios no pasa nada, pero tú no lo experimentas de esa manera.
So whatever beliefs you have that it's okay not to accept miracles for everything.
Entonces, cualquier creencia que no veas que puedes aceptar milagros para cada situación.
And not to follow Jesus 100%.
Y no seguir a Jesús un 100%.
Jump a join with your brothers and ask Jesus to help you see through every one of those delusions.
Únete a un compañero y mira con Jesús cada uno de estos engaños.
You must turn in and stand into the fire of your own denial.
Tú te tienes que parar en el fuego de tus propias negaciones.
Except for some reason, that's how it plays. I mean, you could drop it at any time.
Y de alguna manera así es como funciona, aunque tú lo puedes soltar en cualquier momento.
And there's no better time than now to be 100%.
Y no hay mejor momento. Y no hay mejor momento que ahora para estar 100% en esto.
Because you're worth it. You're holy.
Porque tú eres
We're holiness.
Digno, eres santo. Somos la santidad.
Join the celebration.
Únete en la celebración.
Follow, 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 forgive, 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 and you're out.
Sigue, perdona, perdona, perdona y estarás afuera.
Well, it's a little bit more than that, but that's if you take each one of those steps, it will lead you to see that the love is always here.
Es un poco más que eso, pero si tomas esos pasos, Él te va a liderar para mostrarte el amor que está aquí.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, brothers.
Gracias, Jesús. Gracias, hermanos.
Love you all. Love you all. Love you all.
Los amo a todos. Thank you, Kay.
Yeah, thanks, Maria, for translating, staying there. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. Look at Jean-Francois in the middle of the night up with us. Now that is love.
Miremos a Jean-François que está en la a medianoche con nosotros. Eso es amor por Dios.
When God becomes more important than your sleep, you know you're onto something.
Cuando Dios es lo más importante, más que el sueño, tú te das cuenta que estás en medio de algo poderoso.
Thank you, beloveds.